So there we go. Premier League's back, 17th of June. West Ham will be returning to a full fixture list of the Premier League. Is it too soon? But either way, the season will continue. West Ham will have an opportunity to finish their campaign. The team that is going to be a real test for us is Wolves. Now, generically, there's a few things that could trouble West Ham. Firstly and foremost, the formation. Wolves play with two wing-backs, sometimes with Matt Doherty and sometimes with Adama Traore, both of which get considerable assists, are game winners, are strong in the box. They sort of underpin Nuno Santo's team. Stam may be a little bit, I don't want to say not prepared, but I don't know whether we have the players to compete with that sort of formation. And if we do, we're going to need a lot of pace on the wing. We're going to need both the winger and the fullback, whoever they may be, to double up on them. I think once you start restricting Wolves' ability to hit you on the counter and hit you at pace with width, you take away a lot of their faculties. Historically, West Ham have struggled against Wolves, and personally I think that's because of the counter-attack and the pace and the fact that they're very clinical as well, which would take me on to my next point, and that's Raul Jimenez. West Ham were linked with Raul Jimenez a couple of seasons ago. Obviously, Wolves got a brilliant deal when they brought him in on loan. Took to the Premiership like a duck to water. He's not the quickest, but he's very, very clinical. He's a natural finisher. He's been as good in the Premier League as he has been in Europe. He's a real pivotal part about how Wolves play. And if we're talking about that, the wing backs and getting the ball in the box, Jimenez is that key to either getting that goal or keeping the ball and setting it back. They've got a lot of top quality operators, both up front and in the midfield. Diogo Jota. So Diogo Jota's not typically a technically fantastic player, but he fits that system so well. He's persistent, he's quick. West Ham need to be really alert to that type of threat. Finally, in terms of Wolves, they're two midfielders, Ruben Neves and Joao Moutinho. The minute they signed Neves and Moutinho, I knew that they were a serious contender. Neves is relatively still young, but he was one of the best players for Porto at the time. He's phenomenal in terms of his passing range. He scores ridiculous goals either from a free kick or from long distance. And Moutinho's very much the same. Fantastic dead ball specialist, as an eye for a pass. That Wolves team has been built fantastically. And yes, they've got a lot of resources, and yes, they've got the right connection. They are realistically genuine Europa League contenders. To beat a team like that with that many problems for us, it's going to require a lot of patience. You can't get at Wolves. You get at Wolves, you play into their hands. So in order to kind of overcome that, West Ham are going to have to sit very deep. I don't think we're at the stage now where, yes, we're in a relegation zone. Yes, we need the wins. I would rather take a point from Wolves than lose 3 or 4-0 if we start rolling into the goal difference. I don't believe it's impossible for West Ham not to get a win. I think if you front up with Wolves and say, right, you play your 2 men up front, we'll play our 2 men up front, I think Haller and Antonio cause them serious problems. Haller and Antonio are physically a massive handful. If Wolves decide to counter-attack and they bomb forward and you've got Traore and Doherty on either side, we've got pace. We've got Anderson. We've got, players that can just go at them. And Anderson will be a real focal point. If he's fit and if he's ready to go and say, right, I'm going to pick the ball up and I'm going to run with it. His dribbling ability puts him above a lot of players in terms of being just a pace merchant, essentially. I think Jarrod Bowen will offer the same threat. So there's no reason why if Felipe Anderson shows a little bit of form like he did last season and Jarrod Bowen comes into the side and maintains the level of performance that he maintained against Southampton, we can cause him some serious threats. Do you play... I mean, I would favour probably Soucek and Rice and just sit him in midfield and just say these two physically, athletically can get about. I think it's not a game for a Mark Noble or even a Jack Wilshere because he's fit. It's a game for athleticism. It's a game for how well can we match up with them. I struggle to see where we have significant advantages, but I do believe we've got physical advantages and we've got players that can work against them and cause them a threat. Pablo Fornals hasn't been mentioned, the guy to unlock the pass. It might not be the game for him to start in. It may 100% be the game for him to come on in the second half if we're keeping it to 0-0, if we're keeping it tight, and come on and unlock a few passes with sort of Bowen and Anderson on either wings, and then having maybe Allaire up front or Antonio who can run in behind. Having someone to run in behind is something that we've massively lacked since Arnautovic has gone. That is what West Ham need when you're playing against a team like Wolves. West Ham look like we've got a full bill of health in terms of coming back. But the important thing to remember is it's a clean slate. Form goes out the window. West Ham have had months off now. It's time to switch back on, to go at them. And listen, I'd love us to get a win. And I think I'd love us to come back, blitz it, 3 wins, and just say, look, we're safe-ish. I don't think we will. I think it'll be really, really tough. But I want us to pick up as many points going into the real games. I'm talking Villa, Norwich, Watford, Newcastle. Listen, one observation I've made personally is the Bundesliga. I think it's like only a few teams have won at home. And so it seems like this whole home advantage sort of gone out the window. I believe some of our players are real confidence players. And I think when we're playing behind closed doors and there's a real emphasis on the quality of the players, and that's what I've seen from the Bundesliga. There doesn't seem to be any swaying or emotional decisions or advice. It's the teams that have the best players and the teams that have the best tactics will win. I think we'll be all right. I do think we'll be okay. I think we'll do it. I think we've got too much quality. I think the players will come back. They'll be fit. We've got options now. Even like I said, Ben Johnson and Yarmolenko are back. And listen, I think West Ham. No one likes to say it, too good to go down, but I do think Moyes, having worked with them for a few months and started to pick up results, is going to come into this period quite confident about them doing the right thing. So